Picture this: Gerry Spence, the legendary courtroom warrior, standing alone against a room full of grim faces in a Wyoming courtroom. He's not just arguing law, he's digging beneath the words and reaching for something bigger, something raw. The stakes, not just winning the case, but changing what winning means. What if I told you that every argument you have, from your boss's office to your dinner table, can be won in this exact way? Here's how Spence opens that door. Arguments often start inside your head with fear, but Spence flips that. Fear is the enemy, it's the secret weapon waiting to be unleashed. Let's see how. In 1983, Spence defended Ed Stiles in Wyoming. The courtroom was a war zone of doubt, and Ed's life hung on every word. Instead of shrinking back, Spence welcomed his nerves and fears, letting them sharpen his focus. The result? A victory that wasn't just legal, it was emotional, a testament to owning your truth. Think of fear like a bowstring pulled taut. The tighter you draw it, the greater the arrow's release. Spence teaches that when you harness fear, transform it from a wall into a launching pad, you shoot your argument farther, faster, and with deadly precision. Fear isn't paralysis, it's power in disguise. Once you give yourself permission to argue freely, suddenly the debate isn't a battlefield but a dance floor. You stop fearing conflict and start embracing clarity and connection. Spence argues that real winning isn't about crushing your opponent but freeing both your minds through honest exchange. An argument isn't just what you say, it's who's listening and how they feel. Spence dives deep into trust, credibility, and how words can craft or shatter them instantly. Spence famously says, "I stand naked before the jury," meaning he opens himself up without armor or pretense. At a trial in Montana, this radical honesty made skeptical jurors lean in, dissolving doubt. When you reveal your genuine self, your argument's not just heard, it becomes undeniable. Imagine words as golden threads in a tapestry. If the thread is weak or fake, the whole picture unravels. Spence advises choosing words carefully, not just flashy or forceful, but truthful and precise, so your argument becomes a radiant fabric no one can tear apart. Listening isn't waiting for your turn, it's tuning into the quiet signals behind words. When you listen deeply, you catch the real fears, hopes, and prejudices beneath the surface. Spence calls this hearing the person behind the noise, unlocking doors to arguments you didn't know were there. What if winning wasn't about beating someone else? Spence redefines victory. Your enemy's loss might just be your loss. Let's explore how deep this idea runs. In a Phoenix courtroom battle, Spence faced a corporate giant defending a small rancher. Instead of slicing the opponent into pieces, Spence sought understanding that lifted everyone's reality. Winning became more than legal triumph. It was about creating new respect and a better truth for all. Spence calls government and corporate powers the Cyclops and Leviathan, monsters with one eye and insatiable appetite. Arguing against them feels impossible unless you shift tactics. He teaches us to navigate their blinding gaze by building bridges and speaking with authentic authority that cuts through their blind spots. When argument turns into a dance, not a duel, the energy shifts. Spence urges you to step off the battlefield of ego and onto the floor of honest exchange. Here, true winners aren't those who shout loudest, but those who listen, connect, and transform conflict into progress. Remember that moment with Spence in Wyoming? He wasn't just fighting to win, he was teaching us how to show up as ourselves, fearless and real. Next time you face a tough conversation, don't run from your nerves, lean into them, speak honestly. Listen deeply. Try this: before you argue, breathe, own your fear, and speak your truth. That's the argument you'll win every time. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.